Today on Texas Home Improvement.
All I want to make sure on this first coat is I'm covering all the big stuff. All right, now we're ready to sand our texture off around it, and after we've sanded it, we're ready to go ahead and tape and float this. It's going to take more than one coat of mud, but the first coat, you got to get that tape on there to seal these edges, take care of this corner, then you can go ahead and feather it out with your second and possibly even a third coat. After that, it's time to texture. Okay, while sanding, I found another little loose spot here. You can see how nothing was attached here. This is the paper from the back of the sheetrock. This is where it all came off because that was wet. So I went ahead and removed that as well. But we're ready to start putting our mud on there now. And mud is nothing more than sheetrock compound, joint compound, whatever you want to call it. We're going to first cover all the joints. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're messing with sheetrock mud is you want to keep it clean. If you start getting too much even dust into it, it'll build together and create a big problem for you. Now you got a choice. You got paper tape, which I'm actually going to use in the corner, or you got the mesh tape, which on a small patch like this, I like to use the mesh tape rather than the paper on those type of joints. And anytime I'm doing a sheetrock repair that is a crack or something like that, the mesh does better simply because it has a little bit of give, but at the same time it has strength. This has a little adhesive. It says to put it over the joint first and then just cover it with mud. I find it works better to literally put the mud on there and sink this mesh into the sheetrock mud. Now I want to go ahead and smooth it out just a little bit. All I want to make sure on this first coat is I'm covering all the big stuff. The nice thing about the paper tape, it has a crease built into it for doing the corners, so it's easy to just fold it and you stick it up into the corner. Now you top coat it. You want to bed it in first with your sheetrock knife, and it's squeezing out the material from behind it and bedding it down tight. And at the same time you're doing that, you're also building your corner. All right, so we're ready to put our second coat up here, but before we do, we left these big ridges. We want to knock those down, and so we're going to knock down our high spots and get it ready for the second coat. Now we're going to use a little bit different tools here on this second coat. I mentioned this corner tool the last time. So after we put our mud up there, we'll use this to fix up the corner. We're also going to use a wider knife in order to smooth out a wider area, which will eliminate a lot of these little ridges we had this time. Now let's get ready to take care of that corner piece. Now, you hear me say on the show all the time, tools make the job. Well, we could very easily, well, not so easily, do the tool with this 6-inch knife as far as making this corner, but it'll be so much easier with that corner bead tool. Now we literally just take this tool, make sure again that it's clean. That's it. It is that quick and simple. Okay, we're going to leave it that way. We let it dry, do a final skim coat over the top, and we're ready for texture.
Hawthorne Tables claims to make the ultimate work table. In fact, they claim that their aluminum frames are about as close to indestructible as you can get. Now we'll get to that in a minute, but the first thing to find out is, do they work? Alright, well, that was a lot of work, obviously. Alright, here's the thing. They're a great work table as far as general use is concerned. They roll really easy. They actually make a great dolly. It's a lot lighter than I was expecting with the aluminum frame, but that's not really what we're here for. We're here to test how strong this aluminum frame really is. And for that, we're actually going to switch over to the very first Hawthorne work table ever made over 20 years ago. And that's the one we're going to test out. This is the same piece of wood that Jackie Hawthorne put on this table over 20 years ago. Almost feels like a shame to try to break it, but that's why we're here. I saw this in a movie once. That was a little bit anticlimactic. I think we can do better. I genuinely thought we were going to break this table today. I hit it with a sledgehammer. We dropped an old cast iron stove on it. 220 pounds of just weights. And that's not even to mention the tractor. And after all that, I don't even think Jackie needs to change the plywood on top of it. Look, if there's a stronger, more well-built work table out there, I haven't seen it. And you want to see the best part?
Hi, I'm Mike Douglas, owner of Advent Air Conditioning. We've proudly been servicing the heating and cooling needs of Texans since 1981.
We believe the cheapest repair that you can get is the one that you only have to do once. That's why we send all of our service technicians through over 80 hours of manufacturer training every single year. So if you have an AC or heating repair need, or you're just looking to replace the whole system for your home, give us a call. We're the comfortable solution.
Real people steal people. They want real power, real options, and real value. Grab a lightweight battery-powered chainsaw or an easy-starting battery-powered blower. This season, get a real solution. Get a Stihl. Search STIHL or visit StihlDealers.com.
Folks hire guys like us. Staining and sealing like a pro can be a real headache. And they're right, unless they know our secret.
We have a secret?
Oh, yeah. Ready Seal Stain and Sealer for wood is the professional's product of choice. The one-of-a-kind formula means no laps, streaks, or back brushing required.
Hey, am I doing this right?
Doesn't matter, son. Stuff's goof-proof.
Ready Seal. Look for the goof-proof label and get it right on your first try.
Got any other secrets?
Oh, we're just getting started.
All right, it is time for another steel tool battle. Today, I am putting a gas-powered steel trimmer up against a battery-powered steel trimmer. Let me show you the challenge. All right, here's the challenge. I'm in a drainage ditch that's obviously overgrown. So what I'm gonna do is I'm splitting it right down the middle. I'm gonna have the gas-powered trimmer cut this side, the battery-powered trimmer cut this side. We'll see who comes out on top. All right, so we're all done with the battle, and let me tell you, there is a clear winner for me. Now first, let me just say, both of them had no trouble with the task at hand. And this gas-powered trimmer handled it really easy. But for me, the clear winner is the FS8 56 battery-powered trimmer. All the power I needed, incredibly light, incredibly easy to use. And for most homeowners out there, the battery is gonna last long enough for whatever you need it to do. There's no maintenance on it. It's just an amazing option for homeowners. It is the trimmer that I would choose if I was picking between these two.
All right, so we finished this. We put 2 coats on here. We're ready to kind of do our edges. And I mentioned using a sponge before. The beautiful part about using a sponge rather than sanding, when you sand, you make an awful lot of dust. When you use a sponge, there is no dust. And what it'll do is on these little edges where you're feathering in to the existing texture, it actually will clean the sharp edges off and make it match into the texture. Now this sponge that I'm using, you have sponge on one side and it's a little abrasive on the other side. This is typically used for doing tile work, grout and such, but it works great for doing sheetrock too. See how quick that's coming off of there? So I'll use the sponge side to get it a little moist, and that softens it up, and then I can use the abrasive side to match it in to the texture. All right, we're getting ready to do the texturing now. We've got actually 2 different type of textures here though. The ceiling has basically a heavy orange peel, and the wall has a mix of stomp and drag. It's not a true stomp and drag, but more or less that's what it is. So we're gonna start with the ceiling because then we can scrape off whatever sprays onto the wall prior to doing it. So since we got just a small space to do here, I'm just gonna use one of these cans. Now, you can practice on a piece of sheetrock prior to coming out and actually trying your thing. One of the key things is to make sure you shake these things up good because it's gonna have a mixture inside the can that if it's not mixed well, it's just gonna be just water coming out. So, and when you're putting it on, you wanna go in a circular motion. You know, our tendency is to try to go back and forth, and it just doesn't come out right that way. You tend to get streaks instead. So, now it may look like I'm going heavy, but we're gonna stomp and drag on, we're gonna drag on this in just a minute. We're going to let that sit for just a second before we drag it. While we're letting it sit, let's clean up the little bit of overspray we have, so we're ready to go on our walls here in just a minute as well, because there's no reason to have to wait for that ceiling to dry all the way. Now we're just going to take our clean wide knife and do a very, very light drag across. You notice I'm a little heavier here, a little lighter there. We can actually go back and add a little bit. And that is where we're going to leave this one. Now, you're going to want to make sure to do 2 coats of primer before painting, because anytime you do sheetrock work, it dries the paint out, and you're going to use a primer sealer in order to seal it up so it doesn't just suck all the moisture out of the paint. On a flat ceiling, it's not as critical, but on the walls where you got a semi-gloss, that's where it becomes critical to make sure you seal it well so that it's not just sucking up all the paint. Now we're going to go ahead and do our wall as well. We're going to get our sponge back out, and literally we're just going to dab on some of the mud on here, and same thing, we're just going to pat it on. And we're always overlapping into the areas that we didn't work so that we can blend stuff together. Now this has a troweled finish on it, and so we're going to go back with our 6-inch knife, because you can see the patterns in the rest of it, and it's literally just kind of a cut and drag on it. It's not a super hard finish, but when you're trying to match what somebody else did, it can be rather difficult at times. And I think we can blend in with that. It's really that simple. The thing is, yes, it stands out right now. What you gotta remember is as sheetrock mud dries, it shrinks. So what's really high right now is actually gonna shrink down some. And if it doesn't get as low as you want it, use that sponge again to take off some of the surface, and you can get it down to the height that you want. Prime it, paint it, and you're finished.
All right, I have a quick homeowner tip for you. If you have a leak in your roof, finding that leak might be a little more complicated than you think.
Right. Tim, a lot of times when the leak comes into the house, it's coming into a ceiling, which is catching water, could be from 2, 3, 4 different places. So the key is to find all the spots that could be leaking, and we know the typical spots that are gonna be coming in, because we run across all the time clients calling and saying, I've had 3 other guys out here. And then I go, why are we here? Well, because they didn't find it, or they found 1, or they found 2. They just didn't find all of them. And you know, we put a 10-year guarantee behind every leak that we repair.
So if you got a leak in your roof, you want to make sure you work with the right people so they don't just patch one hole, but they fix the whole problem.
We didn't think we could build the home we wanted until we found You Build It. For years I kept clippings and took notes of the home that we wanted to build. When we met Frank and learned about the You Build It system, we knew that we could turn those ideas into a reality. By following the You Build It system, we were able to save about 15% and still get the home that we really wanted.
We've helped hundreds of people build their dream home, and we'd love to help you.
For tile, wood, and stone, come to the nationwide low price leader, Floor & Decor.
The prices are the lowest you will find.
Not only did we find lots of options, we were like, oh my gosh, it's so affordable.
It's affordable no matter what your budget.
I saved a lot of money at Floor & Decor. We came in under budget.
Way under budget.
Way under budget, yeah.
It's really the best pricing.
You're getting an incredible product for an amazing price.
Why wouldn't you want to save money and make your house look great?
I love to save money. Who doesn't like to save money?
Floor and Decor. You have to see it to believe it.
You know, when listeners call the show they're experiencing cracks in their walls or doors that are sticking, I'm proud to tell them to call the company that's been keeping Texans on a solid foundation since 1978, my company, Due West Foundation Repair. You won't get a salesperson trying to sell you repairs you just don't need, and most jobs come with a lifetime transferable warranty. So if you got cracks in your walls or doors that are sticking when you want the best, call Due West.
Winter doesn't last long in Texas. Some years, it can feel like it skips altogether. And while your yard might take the season off, at Plano Power Equipment, we don't have time to hibernate. That's because we know it's our job to make sure you're ready when spring does get here. So whether it's keeping that old tool running or upgrading to the newest steel equipment, when you need us most, at Plano Power Equipment, we'll be ready.
You might not know the name F-Wave. Just like a few years ago, you might not have known who Tesla was. But the same way that Tesla disrupted the automobile industry, F-Wave is disrupting the roofing industry. So we thought we should introduce you. Scott, for those who don't know, who is F-Wave?
Yeah, F-Wave is a technology company that's starting a roofing business based here in Texas. We have adopted a technology that was developed in New Zealand, and we're bringing it to the roofing industry by producing a new and innovative style of synthetic shingle.
Why did F-Wave come about? Why did these technology people get with the roofers? What's the driving purpose behind it?
Yeah, that's a great question. The industry today, and certainly in Texas, it's dominated by the asphalt shingle. That's a product that's been around for 100 years. There's nothing wrong with it, but we felt that we could improve upon it. And our shingles don't have any asphalt, no granules. They're all single piece construction, industrial grade polymers to make them extra durable. We felt there was an opportunity to bring a shingle to the market that was remarkably beautiful in that it upgraded your curb appeal, incredibly durable in that it can thrive and survive in extreme weather like high wind and hail like we have here in Texas, and can land in the market at a surprisingly affordable price.
So what is the material that this is made of? You said it's a synthetic shingle. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, synthetic is not a word that most homeowners are going to know, at least related to roofing, but it simply means that it's a thermoplastic or a polyolefin. And why that's important is that material science allows us to produce a shingle that's incredibly durable, yet easy for contractors to work with and install on your roof.
Well, I'd love to check the shingle out for myself. Is there a way I can put my hands on it, take a look at it?
Jim Sauter is going to give you a look around, take you through the plant, and show you what we do here.
Sounds great. Jim, Texas, lots of heat. I know one of the big concerns people have is fading. How does this shingle hold up to the Texas heat?
Okay, well, all products that are outside are going to fade. The key is that you want them to fade very gradually and very uniformly. So we've done accelerated aging past 30 years of simulation, and we've shown that our product will be very stable in the sunlight so that you will have a very gradual uniform fade.
And as far as the installation of this product, is it installed differently than a regular asphalt shingle? I know it kind of looks like one.
Well, it comes in a bundle form. It's installed with 4 nails just like an asphalt shingle. It has a seal strip on the underside, just like an asphalt shingle. So essentially, it's identical in installation.
What does that mean as far as cost savings for homeowners?
So what it does is allows the homeowner to save a lot of money on installation costs and still get a premium look. With a tile product, you would put a fastener for each individual tab. In this product, you're doing a whole strip with 4 fasteners.
That's awesome. I know one of the things that Scott mentioned is that you guys have a lot of experience in the industry. How long are we talking about, and why does that matter for homeowners?
Well, I'm going on my 18th year in the industry, and I started working out with Elk, and then worked for GAF for a couple years, and then for Decra Roofing Systems. So I've seen a lot of great products and a lot of products I don't like, and so I'm very passionate about the roofing products, and so we've engineered this to be something that's going to really change the industry.
For me, F-Wave is about so much more than just the products, even though they're pretty incredible. It's about the company, it's about where they're going, and it's about the passion that they have to absolutely revolutionize the roofing industry.
All right, a lot of times you get holes in the sheetrock. Maybe a door handle hit it, or Maybe you had a kid who got upset and put his fist or kicked the wall and knocked a hole in it. Now we're doing a ceiling here, and because we're on a corner, I can't use these nifty patches, but literally if this hole was in a wall, this patch covers an 8x8 hole. And the beautiful part is it comes in a 6x6, 4x4, and really they're simple to use. You sand off the texture. You literally, this is a metal plate with the mesh on it. When you peel this off, it sticks, and you would cover the hole and then float over it with sheetrock mud. Great for on the walls. The thing you got to remember though, any place where you put this, you are no longer hanging pictures, because really this is just a cover and you're going to have a skim coat over the surface of it. But for most holes in a wall, this is all you need.
All right, it is time for another design challenge. I'm here with Shelly Stewart from Floor & Decor. Now, Shelly, here's the challenge for you today. I'm doing a living room. All I know for sure is I like the colors of this pillow, and I need flooring and a fireplace. To make it a little more complicated, there's pets involved, so I need pet friendly.
Okay.
Can you help me out?
Absolutely. Should we start at the flooring?
I think so.
Let's go.
All right. All right, Shelly, what do we have for flooring?
Okay, chosen this one because, well, for a couple of reasons. One, this particular one is light, and it also has all the colors in your pillow. It's pet friendly because it's got a lot of texture to it, and it also looks like a real wood floor.
I love it. This is a great option. It's really, it looks really good. It looks like wood, but I do like the texture on this. It's kind of funny because you wouldn't think because it's a tile that it would have it.
A lot of texture.
It does kind of feel like a wood floor.
Right.
What do we have that's maybe a little darker?
Okay, I actually have this one. It's a little bit darker, so just in case you've got a lot of natural light in there, this one would work perfect because it absolutely represents some of these colors here. So again, looks like a wood floor, a real wood floor, and it has all the texture you need for your pets.
I love it. That's awesome. So what about the fireplace?
Let's go. It's right over here.
All right. All right, Shelly, what are we doing with this fireplace?
Well, we have a couple of options. Depending on which floor you choose, we've chosen these two items for your fireplace. The first one is a little bit darker, and it goes with your lighter floor. And if you pick the darker floor, then we went lighter on the fireplace.
Well, I can almost picture it now, sitting on my couch, snuggled up with my dog, enjoying the fireplace and the new floor. I'll have to get a dog first. All right, if you have a living room or any other area that you are looking to redo, you need to come on into Floor & Decor. Work with one of their design experts. Whatever your restrictions, whether it's pet friendly, ease of use, whatever it is, they've got some amazing products for it and the expertise to make sure that you get the room that you want.
Want more Texas Home Improvement? Listen to our radio show every Saturday and Sunday right here in DFW. You can call in and get your home improvement questions answered live. For a list of stations, and if you'd like to join our team, go to thipro.com.